Welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Glad you could join me here today. As always, thank you again to my new subscribers, all 1,164 of you guys. You are the reason I'm here, to inspire, enlighten, and build up humanity, one person at a time, one subscriber at a time. I appreciate your comments in the comment section, even the haters. At least I know you're watching. But hey, let me tell you this. Before you start hating, watch the whole video, because I had a guy on there hating on me just from the thumbnail. He didn't understand the concept of the video because he didn't watch it. So remember that, you haters. Watch the videos. Check me out on Rumble at Mark's Inspiration. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram at Mark's Inspiration, and Twitter, Mark's Inspiration. Across all the platforms, Mark's Inspiration. Except for Facebook, I think I'm Mark Daniels there. Just Mark Daniels. Today's topic is going to be, I think that's it. No, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with a friend. I'm going to talk about traditional men. I believe in traditional relationships. I would say I'm a traditional man, although I've done some wild things in my youth. But I like traditional women. But what I find today is a lot of women want traditional men, but guess what? They don't want to be traditional women. Now, what do I mean by traditional men and women? I mean, like, if you're in a relationship, she's not out partying with her girlfriend, she's not out partying with other friends that are men, she doesn't have a list of men on her Instagram liking her photos, sending her hearts, and she's not replying to them with little hearts and thank yous. That's traditional. We didn't have those types of things back in the day, and marriages seem to work out much better. Now, some women are going to say, well, that's because women were trapped. They didn't have the opportunities they have today. Well, actually, they did. They just didn't take them. Now, a lot of women want traditional men, and that's great, but they don't want to be a traditional woman. If you ask most women today in our culture in the West here in the U.S., if they would like to stay home with the children, raise the children, take care of the home, and the father work outside the home and provide for the home, most of them will say, I don't want to be a slave. That's what feminism has pushed women into believing, that that is being a slave. But yet it's not a slave, or it's not slavery to go out and work for the man for 5, 10, 20, 30 years even, 36 years, who doesn't care for you. He's your boss, or the company, the man in that respect. And something happens to you, you get sick, you may have insurance, they'll let you go. They don't care about you. That's more admirable or notable than staying home and raising your children yourself, taking care of your man who takes care of you. Why isn't it slavery if he goes out and works every day, long hours, to provide for you and your children while you stay home and raise your children? The daycare industry is, it creates a revenue of $100 billion a year. I think the income from revenue, the revenue from just daycare, the income from the businesses, is $47.2 billion per year. Now think about that. If it was not a valuable job, a valuable career, a valuable profession, how would it make $47.2 billion a year? At the sacrifice of the welfare, security, and mental stability of our children. How many kids get woken up every morning, 6 o'clock, they're in daycare by, let's say, 7 o'clock, they don't get picked up till 5 o'clock in the evening, or maybe 6, some of them. So they're spending all day with people you don't even know, picking up their habits, their attitudes, their morals, and everything else. But yet, that's worth it because she's out making 30, 40, 50, maybe even $100 an hour. What price can you put on raising your children the way you would want them to be raised? Because if you're not raising them, someone else is. But then they act like that's not a notable profession to stay home with your children and raise them. But as I said, $47.2 billion a year industry, and it creates a revenue of $100 billion a year. But yet it's considered slavery. Well, it looks like the slaves are making quite a bit of money there in the daycare industry, doesn't it? So that's what a lot of women in the West here in our culture view traditional relationship, their part of it, the woman part, as slavery. I never knew that slaves in any time in history ever made that much money. $47.2 billion a year. Somebody's breaking it in there because it is valuable, it is important, it is a profession that should be held in higher esteem. And I know most of you men, if you want a traditional relationship and a traditional woman, you want your woman to stay home and raise your kids, your progeny, your legacy. At least I know I do. But yet that's belittled and demeanored here in the United States, in the West. What do? I had one of my wives at one time. She was raising my 3 children. I had 3 at that time at home, and women would ask her, what do you do? Well, I raise my kids. Well, don't you work? Well, that's a 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week job, no sick days until those kids grow up and get out of the house, which sometimes is 18, 21, even after that. So why is that not considered an admirable profession? Because it doesn't bring in the tax dollars like a woman out working in the field, does it now? It's the big lie. When they found out during World War II that women could work and double the taxation, what do you think they did? They started pushing for that. They also found out that when they increased the workload in World War II from 8 hours to 12 hours a day, the injury rate for the women went up 150%, but for the men it didn't. So there smashes the idea that men and women are the same or they're equal. Now, I believe they're equal in the eyes of God, but they're not. We're not the same. We're not the same. We're made for different things. We each have different characteristics and traits, inherent abilities, which we're excellent at, that the other one isn't. Women can do things that you can't do as a man. And men can do things women can't do. That's just the way it is. Look what happens in sports when you have a trans against for example, a trans woman, or a trans man, or however that works. She was born a man and she transitions to a woman, and then she's in sports. She destroys the opposition. Is that fair to women? No, it's not fair. It's not even logical. It doesn't make any sense. Who would want to watch that? I mean, that's not... We like to watch sports, at least myself as a man, where you have men running against each other and women running against each other. Then you have like competition. There's close competition there. What's more thrilling than 2 women running down and they're so close you're not sure who's going to win? And sometimes it's so close that you have to have the camera decide who the winner was. But that's not how it works when you have men against women or trans men against women. It's confusing. I'm not sure how to say it. Not trying to be disrespectful. I think everyone has the right to live however they want to. God bless America. Suits me just fine. We've always had these types of people since the beginning of time. It's just that they haven't been pushed on us, and we haven't been told that we're forced to, I don't know, accept. I accept them, but I'm not sure what they really mean, but it's like almost shoved down our throats. I mean, I have gay clients who are great people, but they never say anything to me about being gay. They never tell me that I have to accept them or I need to change my language for them. So I don't understand. I'm getting off topic here. So I don't understand a lot of that. Like I said, enlighten me in the comments if you will. I'm an open-minded guy. I was born in the 60s. I was a hippie. Nobody accepted me, so I kind of understand. I was different from most people. I live my life for myself, and I believe you have the right to do the very same. But nobody accepted me back then, so. But I didn't care. I lived my own life, as you should do. So, if you want a traditional woman, what are you going to do? Gosh, that's a good question. In the U.S., the culture has moved away from traditional wives, as most of us know. There are women out there now. That's not to say that there aren't any here in the West. But you may be wise to fish in a different pond, because there are other cultures who believe more in traditional marriages and relationships like we used to here back in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s. I'm not sure when it started changing, maybe the 90s or in 2000, I'm not sure. So that would be my suggestion, is to vet women properly, really take your time with them here, because marriage in the U.S. is really kind of an unconscionable contract, to quote a term from Rollo Tomasi. It's not good for the man, but it benefits the woman greatly. Because the problem here in the U.S. is when you marry a woman, you marry her in the court system. And that never works out too good if you should happen to separate, God forbid, and have children with her. She will get most of your income, and the percentages goes up every year if you make more. It's not according to what it takes to raise the kid, it's according to how much money you make. So if you raise your income every year, she can take you back to court every year, and to say nothing about the lawyer's fees. And if she can't afford a lawyer, they will make you pay for her lawyer to take you back every year to raise the child support according to your increase in income. A lot of you guys don't know that. Look at the laws in your state. Or someone suggested go to divorce court, because you can go sit in there, it's public, and watch what happens in there. It would be time well spent that you do that before you marry here in the West. I'm not against marriage. I've been married 4 times. Yeah, I'm persistent. Didn't work out because it's just so easy for them to leave when they get to feeling like they're not in love. And that's even encouraged here by other women in the States. Now, the last woman I was married to was from another country, but I brought her back here, and she learned the ways of American women. Now, we've been divorced for 12 years, and I fortunately, through a strange happenings and circumstances, I ended up with all 6 of the kids. But that is not common and not usual. Where I have to pay child support for those children, it would have cost me, I would say, 5 times as much as it did for me to raise them by myself. So I was fortunate in that respect. Now, I have other children from other marriages where I did have to pay child support. And through some strange circumstances, I was able to get out of that too. Not because I didn't want to take care of my kids, but it's a long story. You have to read the book. Coming Back Home, The True Adventure of Mark Daniels, on Amazon. And that will tell you how I managed to get out of that. Were it up to me, I would have raised my daughter by myself from the previous marriage. But as you know, I didn't end up raising these kids by myself, excuse me, for the past 12 years. But I was fortunate. Many men aren't quite fortunate. And if you don't pay if you don't pay your child support, they will throw you in jail. But if she doesn't let you see the kids, there's no repercussions for her. Yeah, and if you think you're going to get the kids in divorce court, your chances are slim to none, unless she's a very dangerous criminal person who's been in jail. And even then, if she goes into a rehab or gets herself straightened up, she can always go back to court and try to get custody of those kids. And once again, if she doesn't have the money to take you back, many times the court systems in my state will make you pay for her lawyer. Strange, isn't it? Strange how they say, I'm just as strong as a man. I want equal rights. Unless we go to divorce court or a custody court. Then I can't take care of it myself. I can't pay for it myself. Yeah, so this happens. Nothing against women, but I think women, this is going to piss some people off. Women need to know their place. And I know they hate that. I know my place. If a woman says to me, you need to know your place. I'm like, well, what is my place? You're the man, you're supposed to take care of this, this, and that. Okay, I'm fine with it. I have no problem with it. It doesn't offend me at all. But you tell a woman she needs to know her place, and she'll have a dang fit. Why is that? Pride, arrogance, humility. Humility is something we all need more of, myself included. All right, so that's my take on traditional women, traditional marriage, and traditional relationships. Hope that's been of value to you. Share it with a friend. And if you would like to get my help personally, you can contact me at marksinspiration.com is my website, or the email will be in the description, marksinspirationalguidance@gmail.com. And as I said, share this with a friend. Leave your comments in the comments section. Let me know what you think about this video and the information. And if there's anything you would like me to speak on, put it in the comments section. Ask me a question or email me and go into more details, and I'll make a video for you. My view on the situation you're going through or the problems you're having, and maybe I can help you. All right, take care, have a great day, and stay out of the way.